never seen a smile so big on my little Lord lady's face until I tell her I'm going fishing all weekend. Pack up all of my bait and I make plans for 7:45 and I swing around, pick up my date for the weekend. Some reason she seems to please when I'm leaving. There's something I'm missing when I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing.
And it is typical. It's a big deal to get out on Lake Ontario right now and salmon fish and hunt for those big chrome bad boys and bad girls that are running around Lake Ontario. Big shout out to Caleb Rogers. We got your gift pack. Very much appreciate it. Bonehead Tackle. Love what this kid's doing. As I said, it's the only interview I've had where I was speechless. He's dedicating all the profits and the sales of his products for his sister who suffers from diabetes, and all of the proceeds are going to help fund the research for diabetes. So Caleb, big shout out to you, buddy. Some wicked stuff here that was sent. Love getting new stuff, new prizes that our community can benefit from. And of course the mailbag was full. Big shout out to Barry and Sally. Yeah, baby. Love when you see all of our sponsors on jerseys like this. Back Road Adventures. Gotta love it. Yeah, baby. And it fits me. I love that too. Beautiful stuff from FishOFF. And here's the best part. They sent one to be given away at a later date for our CFN community. So to both Barry and Sally, can't thank you enough. I apologize for not wearing it right now, simply because it is hotter than Hades, and there are stickers that came with it too. And I don't know where I put those. Let me have a look here. Did I put them down here? Nope. I don't know where they went or where I put them. Oh, there they are. So these are some stickers. One of each you will receive as a winner. Not sure how we're going to give it away just yet, but we'll come up with something. I'm sure Barry and Sally might even think of something too. It is a large, so perhaps it's anybody who's a large can enter kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see. How's everybody tonight? I see Trisha. Hey, all out. Catch you later. She's probably out fishing. God bless her. She was out there with Amber. Great photo edit by Steve. Big shout out to Steve and Walter, man. they've been hitting it out of the park with edits. Dwayne's in the house. Right on, Dwayne. How you doing, buddy? All the way out west. Tony, how you making out with the forest fires? I'm coughing on all the smoke coming down here. But we were talking to Jack Dawson earlier today, Mike and I, and it seems as if you get the wrong kind of wind, and the North Country is inundated with all kinds of smoke. So, Sean, God love you, buddy, for doing all that. And just to let you know, your Scotty pack is on the way. Congratulations on being our winner of that. That was sent last week. James Shembry's in the house, who I believe it was you, James, that I saw just recently out fishing and caught a whopper of a piece of chrome. Rachel Lynn is redecorating her house. I noticed that she has an aquarium fit for a whale that she's going to be filling. I wonder if she's going to fill it with some walleye or perhaps some sunfish, pumpkin seed. No, you can't do that. Who am I kidding? Doug's in the house. Douglas, how's the wind, buddy? Hopefully you can hear me. I know it was ringing pretty hard yesterday and this weekend. Made fishing very, very difficult for you and the rest of our participants in the CFN FishOFF. Mike's going to be joining me later to discuss that because we have a bit of a surprise. Yes, we do. And it's a bit of a curveball. Not sure any of you will have seen it coming, but Mike and I are going to be announcing it tonight. As it is right now, it is very tight. That's all I can tell you. These teams are putting on a heck of a show. We have Team Jackal, Team Power Pro, and Team G Loomis, and all three are killing it. They're doing really, really well, and it is tight, man. Is it ever tight? Kelly's in the house. How you doing, Kelly? Nice to see you out fishing lately, brother. Lloyd, I think you were out too just recently. I'm almost positive I saw a picture of you. Fernando, I haven't seen a catfish pic from you in a while. Looking forward to that. Larry and Martine are going to be joining us at the CFN retreat. And holy crap, man. It seemed like an eternity away. And she's like 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more than that, but not too darn longer than that. I tell you, can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. We've got a video that we're going to be playing that I put together. Some beautiful scenery shots. Got the drone out the last time I was up there and took some really nice stuff. So we're going to share that with the introduction of the new owner. So that'll be coming this week, not to mention some Trout Tuesdays, some Walleye Wednesdays, and a whole whack of other stuff. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody was out fishing. Christina caught a whale. Yeah, that was a beautiful edit of your chrome. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that was Steve that did that, and she was a tank. What's up, Ed McKenzie? Yeah, baby. I love your profile pic. That is Ed in a nutshell right there. Yeah, absolutely. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Nice to see you joining us. As I said, that day is coming, and when the truck shows up with the boat, buddy, all you need to do is get in. That's it. So we'll plan that real soon, Ed, because I'll tell you, you're due, bud. You've taken a lot of people fishing, and it's time to pay it back. Enzo's in the house. How you doing, Enzo? Good to see you. Shane Turcott, looking, yeah, absolutely. We will definitely catch up soon, Shane. I'm not sure how the tournament trail has been working up in our North Country. Haven't really been following. I do know that there were some club tournaments that we saw. And speaking of tournaments, Big Jim's going to be on here shortly to discuss that, because there were some big happenings this past weekend. Some typical people you would expect to win one. But some others, and one of which we did a feature with or on yesterday, and I'll tell you, Alicia Retrowski, oh baby, to make the Ontario team, good on you. But Jim and I will be talking about that real soon. Mike Howard's in the place. How you doing, Mike? Can't wait for long nights of chucking spoons. Yeah, they're coming. From what I understand, they're almost starting to run the rivers. I've heard stories of folks already catching salmon in the rivers. So, Mike, I know this is you're probably tingling, dude. You probably got goosebumps, but it's here. 280 fires out here. Holy smoke! That I'm assuming is BC. NOWT is back in 2020. Ooh, yeah, baby. Nice to hear. I'm ready to count. Yeah, the days of the retreat are they're soon to come. Monster rainbow caught yesterday in St. Catharines, 26 pounds. Fish are definitely bigger. I don't know if it was the COVID keeping people off the water. The ramps all closed down, but there's some big salmon being caught. They are finicky, depending on where you are. But all right, here there's forest fires in Horwood Lake. Sean, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I know they're not far from Horwood, but I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, is they are west and south of Horwood. But I could be wrong. But I do know that there's been some pictures and some videos that were taken up there. I believe Dave Helmer posted a few up in that area. But yeah, it's as I said. Listen, it's what goes on. It's a fact of life. It's something that happens each and every year. It's just horrible to hear that it's getting close to our beloved area and to our CFNers who are having to deal with it. Maybe they've had property loss. Maybe they've had to be evacuated. I don't know. Like, BC's bad. Ontario's starting to get bad. It's been a dry summer, believe it or not. And from what we were hearing from Jack, as soon as you get a rain, a campfire, right? When you pour a bucket of water on a hot fire, the amount of steam and smoke that is given away. Well, can you imagine doing that, 100,000 times more with a forest fire, and you get that deluge of rain? Can you imagine the smoke that causes? Holy crap. Faylene's in the house. How you doing, Faylene? I saw you were out fishing recently with the family, if I'm not mistaken. Nice to see you show up tonight. Don't tempt me. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rachel, it's an understandable law, but yeah, I'm with you. Don't tempt me. I would love to fill a huge aquarium full of some of our beloved fish that we catch in our own backyard. For Horwood, Christina, tips on colors and baits. Well, I will say I've always had a lot of luck with white and pearl, like a bone color. Anything that's got a white or pearl belly with a black back does very well. We've had twister tails, as we found out last year. Although they're an oldie but a goodie, they work very well. So, but we have what's called the Horwood Highlight, which is a drop shot type setup, where you have a 3/8 jig head at the bottom. Suspended above that is your drop shot hook, 18, maybe 20 inches above your jig, and literally you're jigging both of them at the same time. We call that the Horwood Highlight, and I tell you, it's done us very well. But drop shotting, definitely a must. I will have some plastics from all of our various sponsors. I'll be sharing that, and there's some stuff that, as I said, you're going to be surprised at, especially Dynamite. They've got some stuff that I'll be able to share with you guys that A1 and on a drop shot presentation work really well. So yes, outside of that, you can bring crankbaits. I've never really tossed them. I'm more jig and plastic, as Christina, we fish together. So yeah. The mopping of plastic, small paddle tails, 2.5 inch to 4 inch, no bigger than that. Those will catch your eaters, and you'll catch big fish with that too. So, can I bring live minnows? You can, Christina, but the owners have it up there. Warren has it up there, so you don't have to. And they're from the area, so that's a good thing. But yeah, you could bring them, as long as they're allowed from the area that you are bringing them from to the area that you are going to. Keep that in mind. Check your regs, because you can't transfer all minnows all across Ontario. There are restrictions to that. So find out from either the place that you purchase your minnows where you can take them, and make sure we don't get you in trouble. We don't want to get you in trouble. Love drop shotting for smallies. Absolutely. Listen, Lynn's is a night here in BC. Many of the rivers closed due to drought. Wow. That's horrible to hear. I know you guys have had a tough go when it comes to rain. And that's the problem, right? You have all these forest fires, and then you get the deluge of rain, and all it is a mud pit. So anyway, not too much in the way of announcements. There's so much going on in CFN land. a lot of folks were asking me, and I was feverishly looking for it, the hoodie from One Last Cast, our CFN signature series. If you want to purchase one of those hoodies, keep in mind that if you do, and we'd love it if you do, if you want free shipping, and it's as long as walleye are open, all you have to do when you are checking out is put in the code. There's an option to text in a code, and it's "I want my CFN." No spaces, all in capital letters. "I want my CFN," and if you put that in the code, shipping will be free. So I know they've sold a handful of them, and I appreciate all of you folks purchasing them, because they look darn good. There's a picture of them now. They look, oh man, they're beautiful stuff, really nice stuff. But as I said, "I want my CFN." If you text that and in the coupon area, you will get free shipping for as long as walleye is open, which the longest that I'm aware of is March out in Bay of Quinte. I think it's 15th of March. Anyway, I got to check that, but you'll be able to purchase it for Christmas. They'll make a great Christmas present for somebody. So keep that in mind. And you know what? Without further ado, I've said enough. For a guy who didn't have much to say, I have certainly said enough. But we can't speak to our beloved Jim McLaughlin without the one and only video that gets the heart going. Here comes Jim. Never gets old, Jim. Never gets old.
Boom shakalaka. He's right below me. He's right here in the river practicing right behind me, like 15 minutes away.
Well, I hope you turned up his theme song.
A boy can fish.
Well, this is it. Absolutely. They don't spend that kind of money and put that kind of effort together unless you know a thing or two. But
he's won a couple of $1 million.
There you go. Right. It's $1 million more than I have. So that's good for him. Awesome to hear.
Oh, you've won $2 million fishing?
Have I? No.
Yeah.
No, no, absolutely not. I've spent $2 million to fish, but no, definitely not. But I'll tell you, there was some awesome stuff that came out of this past weekend's events. You had Chris Bain and Carrie Paquette up there. I believe it was the Nickel City Bass Tournament. Club tournament that they were in. They managed to bring
I don't know if it's Nickel City. I think it's a local thing that they have. It could be, but I'm not sure, because I know there was some kids and families involved. It's like a get-together type tournament. So it's really, really cool. Yeah.
They managed, I believe, to bring home first. That's phenomenal. As I said, those pair can certainly fish, and
Chris caught his biggest largemouth ever.
What was it?
His biggest bass ever. 7.1 pounds. Yeah.
Unreal.
First time he broke 7 pounds, so that's really cool. And that's a bit of an accomplishment up there too.
And of course, our buddy Cooper Gallant, he came in second. No shame in that whatsoever, because first and second 2 weekends in a row. Awesome.
Yeah, I was chewing Cooper up pretty good on the stage up there.
Oh yeah.
I got him up there, and I said, I understand you won $10,000 last weekend, and his mom yells out, I won $10,000. And he should have seen the look on his face. So I said, well, you must get some of that. So when are you going to buy a razor and clean up that face, eh? He was embarrassed.
Oh wow.
It was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And I think probably, near and dear to all of our hearts here at CFN. And I was touched that you called Jim and brought it to light and how proud you were. And as I said, if I haven't said it once, I've said it a million times. When it comes to promoting female anglers, buddy, you have done it best. And I think you were just as excited as Alicia was to find out that she made Team Ontario.
Yeah, when I saw her, like I told you, it was really funny. I made a couple of funny comments to my wife, and she looked at me and shook her head. I won't repeat them here. I'll have to tell Alicia when I see her. But there was a couple of great things came out of my mouth about it, eh? And she was like, when a little kid gets so excited and they stand there and they clench the fist and they just like that. She was like that, and her mouth didn't stop here; it went to here. She looked like the Pac-Man figure. She was so excited. Like the smile on her face was just the width of the whole thing. It was really, really cool.
Well,
really, really
cool. She has done a great job supporting us. She speaks highly of CFN, always has, always will. And, when someone who puts in the time like she has, and let's face it, Alicia has put in the time, and to be rewarded like that, I'm always thrilled to see when hard work is rewarded. And
plus she's got bragging rights in the family now, so
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But good on you, Alicia. You will represent our province as you always do, honorably and with an incredible effort. So we look forward to seeing what goes on in the future with you. But congratulations on behalf of all of us here at CFN. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that whole thing is it was just it was just perfect.
Yeah,
is how it was run. Your organization factor. They had a wonderful place where the fish came out of the water. They had like a 75-foot walk in the water with the bags. They're real good live release bags with a million holes. Like it's a mesh. So the fish are in water. Then they go. They check them to make sure they're alive and they're all the right size and whatever else you have to do. Then they go across, they check in right in front of the stage. The fish, once again, are in water. They're up on the stage. They get weighed with the bag, and they hand them off to a kid, and the kid ran them down and dumped them off the end of the dock, and they dumped them off the end of the dock into like 18, 20 feet of 65-degree water.
Perfect.
I think there was one dead fish each day, and there's 180 anglers. So you imagine if you turned 180 people loose on a lake and said, hey, bring back some fish for a fish fry tonight. So tournaments don't cause the grief that people like to make them out that they do. And I'm sure a few of those fish would succumb after. It happens. It's one of those things. But still, when you have 180 anglers and there's only 2 fish that are, it's pretty good. That's like amazing.
Jim, I often wonder, and not to go down a path that some of us don't like to do, but was the M&R there? Were they taking creel samples at all?
No, not at this one, no.
Wow.
I'm sure it has a lot to do with COVID.
Yeah.
Like because you're on the Army base up there, and the COVID on the bases, they're pretty strict about it. There's no asking why or putting in your opinion. It's just the way it is, and it's done.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And the Marina Jubilee Lodge up there, they even shooed them away from the marina area down a dirt road off the one side, which may have been a better thing for the fish in the long run, because it brought you to this little rocky point. It was a little thing with dirt built and big boulders, and I mean, like, there was a little sand beach. They stepped up on a sand beach, and like I say, they walked up, and 75 feet they were there and doing it. So it's really, really good. It's tournament anglers really all have conservation in their mind. It's there. They really want to take care of the fish. You watch these guys with their live wells. They were out there. There was one guy came to me and he said to me, I had a decent fish in the morning. It was a really nice fish that I thought that he could use. And he said, it just wasn't happy in the live well, and it didn't come from deep water or anything. It just wasn't happy in the live well. So you know what? He let it go because he's sort of assuming that it has more of a chance to live on its own than it does being in the live well for the day. And then he ended up getting almost. He said I was probably equal to what I had. Like it didn't really make a difference because he had about 15 pounds, and he said the fish was close to 3. So, and his fish were all clones. Like it looked like he took a cookie cutter and went boom, 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 the 5 in the bag. And they had one nice fish caught out of the river up there. It was 5.15, I think it was, or 5.16. So over a 5-pound smallmouth out of the Ottawa River up there is a pretty good thing. They're they don't get as big up there the way they grow. They fight huge currents all their life, like monster current in that river. And I don't think it's the most fertile place in the world. So it's what it is. It's you take them down the St. Lawrence here, the same fish, they fight current all their life and everything else. But for the last 15 years here, they've been swimming around eating gobies. And that's like ordering the Chinese buffet to your house every night. It's you're gonna pork up. It's all you. There's nothing you can do. You're gonna put the pounds on. It's what it is,
Absolutely.
But it was great to see the guys up there, the respect, and it was really cool. You got guys come up on the stage, and one guy. There must have been a half a dozen people that came up and said to me on the way up the stairs, they're holding the bag and they got one fish in. Now the non-boaters are allowed 3. The boaters are allowed 5. So they're coming up and they got one fish. It's a smallmouth bass. It's like just a keeper. And a couple of people come up on the stage. One guy says, "I know you can't see it, but it's in here." Like they're weighing them. They're just a little over a pound. We had one that was 1.66, but the bag is half a pound wet. So,
wow.
And they're all yucking about it, like they're going off the stage. So I realized that these guys have some pretty thick skin. And a lot of them have a lot of money invested in it too, but it's more of that have fun club type thing. It's not that tooth and nail just trying to win a boat or whatever. Not that those guys don't. I did that. I went through it at a high level, and it's I always had a yuck. I always had if your day didn't go well or stuff like that. It's just what it is, but some of the guys get a little more uptight about it when they don't do well than others. But that's the same with every sport.
Absolutely, and you touched on the conservation side of things when it comes to these tournament anglers, and there should be a lot of emphasis put on exactly that for no other reason. A lot of folks may suggest that they get penalized if the fish don't come in good health. Well, that's true, but I'll be honest with you. There hasn't been any tournament anglers that I have met that don't get upset when fish die. And intentionally go out to kill fish. There's none of that.
I had a day many years ago in Lake Ontario, and I was one of if not the first person to be stupid enough to go out in the Lake Ontario before anybody did it. And I had a day where I had gone to fish for smallmouth back when a 3-pounder was a good one, and I came in and I had my 6 smallmouths. I caught 6. They were all 3 pounds, close to it, cookie cutters. Going to be a great catch. So on the way in, we ran into some horrific weather, big thunderstorm out in the mouth of the Bay of Quinte. I'm talking like a monster thunderstorm. Like you're in the boat and you're just keeping it in gear to go into the waves as you go over them and go down and come back up in the next one. Like they're probably, most people would say they're 8 or 10 feet high. So they're probably realistically 5 feet high. Yeah. When it all comes down to it, because people have no concept how big a 10-foot wave is. It's a terrifying thing, and you'd be coming back like that. And I had a day where the batteries broke loose of the cables from bouncing, and the live well died. So my fish all died, and I was distraught. I was at the hotel and I was almost in a bad mood that had happened, and yet it's something that was out of your hands. Back then, they put the batteries in the back of the boat. They didn't even strap them down.
Wow.
There's so much has changed. Now they have, they have things that clamp them down and hold them in place so they can't move. They have pads to sit them on, rubber pads so they can't break, all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't uncommon for someone to break a battery, like have acid in their boat. You'd see guys up with the plug out, pouring pails of water through their boat, trying to rinse the acid out before it ate a hole in their boat, stuff like that. I've seen that several times.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I ever had that happen to me. And I had a couple of other odd fish along the way that died. Everybody has, and the ones that haven't, their noses growing pretty quick. It's what happens. But the pressure on the fishery compared to when we used to go out every weekend and catch them and bring them home and cook them, man, oh man, I know. I went from being a catch and cook dude when I was working in the bars when I was younger. We'd go out and I could catch a lot of fish when I was younger too. Before I really got into it, I had it figured out early to start to get it. And, we ate fish like 5 nights a week. I shared an apartment with this guy, Terry, who I was the house actually. And, we went fishing together, and that's what we did. That's that famous little 11.5-foot aluminum that I had. I won my first tournament in. I won $2,500 in it, and they all got mad.
That's awesome.
But
some of the things that I see folks do, Jim, and maybe we'll talk about it briefly, but I see folks add ice to their live well in order to keep water temperatures down. Somebody just mentioned here about J juice. I don't know much about that conditioner. Do you?
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there. A lot of them are just basically, a lot of them are antifungals and things like that. So basically, if you keep a healthy fish in a live well all day, if there's anything wrong with the fish, if it has any fungus on its skin or stuff like that, that's why you used to see the water turn green when you put the stuff in and stuff like that. It does a lot for the fish. And I guess it's a lot of them, basically, from what I understand from talking to people who've done testing with it and everything, it's sort of like Gatorade for fish.
Oh,
is the way one guy summed it up to me. Because with all the stuff that Bruce Tufts did, when you catch a fish, keep it in the boat all day, and you care for the fish properly, we're not talking about throwing it in the live well and forgetting about it. When you care for the fish properly all day, Bruce Tufts determined in the end, and I was in on all this in the beginning when they did this. I was the one catching the fish for them to do the testing on. And in the end, they basically said that when they checked the fish's blood from when you first caught them till the end of the day and stuff like that, they look for all, like they just analyzed their blood. And Bruce summed it up as being the football player he was. He was like an all-star university drafted football player. A lot of people don't realize that about Bruce.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, like he's like a terror in the football field.
Wow.
And he told me it's like a football player playing 4 solid quarters. That's the effect of it. So you're tired, you're a little bit beat up maybe, but you're none the worse for it. Give you a couple of days and you'll be good to go again, In fact, I was just talking the other day, and they formed a university fishing team at Queen's University.
Is that right?
And Bruce Tufts is the boss man of it.
Wow.
So that's really cool. Last time I talked to him, he didn't mention that. He's such a modest guy, eh? He could have just discovered how to make a fish grow a half pound a year with a needle or something, and he wouldn't tell anybody, Not that he's looking for that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he could have something that everybody would go, whoa, he doesn't talk about it. But yeah, this is really cool being up on the base on the weekend. I got to spend a lot of time with a bunch of guys up there. I spent a couple of nights standing in the garage getting eaten by mosquitoes, which I haven't done much of that in recent years, like not at all. And it was funny. I sent my wife home a picture of a big plate of chicken wings that was cooked on a smoker, and there was a big Molson Canadian tall boy beside it. She said to me, "You're drinking a beer?" That's what she texted back to me. "You're drinking a beer?" I said, No, it's just sitting there. I'm not drinking a beer. It was so funny. She was like, "Thought, what the hell? You go to Peterborough or Petawawa and you drink a beer." And it was really cool because I was with Pepe Parisienne and Travis Surrett, Joe Doucette, and a couple of their buddies. And these are all guys that have crossed the pond and done the deed several times. They're battle-hardened soldiers. And when you get them alone like that in a garage, it's hilarious. It's hilarious to watch it. It really is to hear the stories and things like that they talk about, like the funny stuff. It was just incredible. And Travis made a thing called an armadillo egg. You got to look it up. Just put the hashtag armadillo egg and click on it, and it'll take you there. It's a hot pepper with sausage meat spiced however you like it, and they wrap it up and make it look like a big egg, and then they wrap about 3 inches of waistline of bacon around it. So it's like this big now. Oh wait, hang on, I can show you a picture. Hang on.
Holy, sounds like a heart attack in a bell.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. It's called an armadillo egg. Come out, where you are. Joe, well, he had some sausages too. We had, some of the guys actually said that they had meat sweats because there was no vegetables killed in this thing. This was like 2 nights in a row. They would go in the freezer, pull something out and look at it. What's this? I don't know. Onto the barbecue. They had stuff in the smoker, stuff on the barbecue. But that's what they look like.
Wow.
This is sauce, but those big round things are called armadillo eggs. And when you cut them open,
wow.
I don't know, you get the angle. That's what they look like. Yeah. You can see the pepper inside. And they thought that it might be a little bit spicy. They said that, and it was like bang on for me the way I like it, because it was spicy, but it was tasty, not just burn your face off. Yeah, but really, really cool. And then a couple of the guys that were there made the team. Travis made the team. Travis is like a really, really good angler. He's a tournament guy. I mean, he's won a couple of tournaments already this year. And yeah, I see somebody here just said Travis was my boater on Sunday. So
yeah, just unfortunately it says Facebook user, and I don't want to assume who that is, so I'll wait to find who is actually making the comment. But yeah, that's awesome. It's and it's great to see these events being held here in Canadian waters. Jim.
Oh yeah, like this is, it's the whole thing. Like they've had this up there before. But the same old thing. And then I went and visited with our good buddy Mark LaBelle and his wife, who's Weapons of Mass Destruction.
Yeah.
Makes the stuff. And I mean, here I'm sitting with the guy in their garden talking to him, and his wife's got a box of jig heads, filing them nice and smooth, so when they paint them, they look perfect. And it's amazing the care that they take. Because she had a little pail beside her, and I said, "How come you're throwing those ones in the pail?" And she says, "Well, they don't look right. I don't want to use them." There's a new color of chatterbait that he's got, but look at see the paint finish.
Holy smokes!
See the way the lead is perfectly smooth underneath the paint.
Wow.
Even I don't take care of that sometimes with the bucktails. I figure the fish don't know, but he wanted it. This is a new color that he just made. I think it's called like Midnight Blue or something.
Wow.
Got a black blade and everything else, eh? And then he had another color. He called this Greenzilla. Yeah, Greenzilla. And I just really like it. It's all shades of green. But once again, if you look at that jig head, there's not a mark. See how smooth the front is?
Absolutely.
Every one of those things. She's sitting there with a great big file, making it all nice, making everything perfect. Wow. They really care about the stuff that they produce. And he's one of the crowd. Eh? He's one of the guys that's. He's been over there several times. He was the one that got me up when a couple of years back when I got to go in all the coyotes and everything, and they chased me around the parking lot there when I posted the picture saying they were shaking me down for GPS locations for fish. I had 3 coyotes corner me. They wouldn't let me out.
Oh, it was Alicia. I thought it was. So that congratulations, Alicia. If you didn't hear right from the outset. We're kind of pumping your tires on the recent events that happened this past weekend. You brought it home. You managed, I believe, 10th place, but you made.
I think it was 9th.
9th place. You made Team Ontario, and that is quite an achievement. So congratulations on behalf of all of us here. That's pretty cool. Cut up pool noodles to keep the fish safe in bumpy water. Also gives them something to hide under. Interesting idea.
Yeah, you put them in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on the top, so it stops the water from sloshing back and forth.
Yeah.
And what we used to do was we used to take a wet towel. Well, it didn't have to be wet. It got wet pretty quick. But we would take a towel, lay it across the live well loose, just hanging just into the water, close the lid down with the towel jammed in the joints all the way around. And it acts like a baffle. So the fish don't get banged back and forth. But yeah, see, and this is what we just talked about an experienced tournament guy taking the time to take care of the fish.
Wow.
It helps them, It just stops that water from bouncing around in there.
Oh, she was 3rd, Jim. We both you and I got it wrong. She was 3rd. Good for you.
Oh, there you go. Sorry.
Holy smokes. That's incredible. Ed brings up an interesting concept, or it can be considered different than that of the traditional bass tournaments where you are driving around with your fish all the time. And obviously MLF is using this as their platform through which how they enter and submit fish. But it's the head-to-head live release. You take you record its weight. You have a spotter on each boat, and they record it. They take pictures of it, video, what have you, and then they release it overboard immediately. Do you see these style of tournaments one day, Jim, because everybody's on the catch and release kick, taking over, or do you think the traditional style will still remain?
The traditional style will remain in the lower echelons, because obviously here you've got 80 boats on the weekend, 160 anglers. You'd have to have 80 other people in the boat to weigh the fish. You know what I'm saying? Because they all have a marshal in the boat that weighs and records and enters their fish. So, and these marshals are obviously paid people. That a lot of them travel around and fish a lot of the tournaments. So, to a certain degree, yes, it will come. And is it good for the fish? Well, obviously, it's good for the fish because they're handled less, gets them back in the water quicker. But you'll never see that at club event levels or things like that. And unless they have two people in the boat and they give them a scale and they let them weigh each other's fish. But there's still, people always come up with the old, there's chance there could be collusion, or there could, like I'm saying, it's, it's like the people that came up with the antis, they come out and they talk about this stuff. And, when they used to, then they got really good live wells, then they started releasing the fish. And, then releasing the fish wasn't good enough, like doing the MLF style, then the antis actually attacked that too. Like they found avenues to do it, because they started saying, well, it forces them to handle more fish in a day because they're catching as many fish as they can in a day anyway. But see, that's not a very good argument, because I've never seen a guy load up 5 fish in a tournament and stop fishing. Have you?
No.
Still going to go through as many fish as he can to a certain degree, maybe not out of the spot that if he has an area he's fishing and he knows there's a lot of fish in it. A lot of times I've gone to an area, caught, even like taking a chance and caught 4. When I fished, a lot of the limits were 6. So I would get 4 or 5 fish and then leave, assuming over the day I was going to manage to get one more. That, regardless if I went practicing, again for the rest of the tournament, for the rest of that day or whatever, or if I didn't at the end of the day, I might come back to that area at the end of the day and try and catch another one to fill it up. But usually catching 4 or 5 and looking, having the rest of the day if you got them quick. And when I say quick, I mean in like half an hour, 20 minutes, Right. You're right on top of them. You drive to them. You catch them.
I saw our buddy Moose demonstrate how a flogger works. Were floggers used back in the day with you, Jim?
I don't believe so.
So they're new.
So I know they've been around for a long time. I think they used them for other things. Somebody told me that they were at a resort somewhere down in the Bahamas like 20 years ago, and they used to give them to you in the boat to go out and watch the fish underneath the boat. All it does is let you see under the water a little clearer. It doesn't catch the fish for you.
No, absolutely. But it was interesting to see how they work and how they can benefit. Really, let's face it, we have all these wonderful electronics on our boat, and we go back to something that, our grandfathers used to find fish. I think it's awesome. It was great to see. And unfortunately for our buddy Moose, this is a typical fish story, but I feel bad for Moose. He was in a tournament this past weekend, and unfortunately the boat came apart on him. He had a good bag of fish, probably wasn't a winner, but he ended up dumping it because his partner, which made total sense, they were just frozen because they didn't have anything to hide behind with all the rain. And he let go probably a 15th place bag of fish, to help out what was his partner, who was cold, and not to mention the fact that the boat fell apart. But admirable to say the least. I think it's awesome. I know you and I talked about it on the weekend, Jim, what Moose is doing with this young Colby angler. I don't know too many tournament anglers, and this isn't a shot at them by any means, but what Moose is doing with this young kid and mentoring him on the tournament trail, I think is just phenomenal.
Nope, it's true. It's cool to have somebody like that, to get you out there and just put you through. Because I saw people on the weekend here that came up and they had never brought a fish up to a weigh-in scale or whatever. They're standing in front of the stage going, "Where do I bring the fish?" Like they've never done this before. They've been walked through it until they get there, and then they had to cross in the front, have to get their name in the club, and then bring the fish up on the stage. And they're standing there saying, "Do I bring this up on the stage?" So yeah, come on up. We're not going to bite you. It's it's the first time for them, and it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
It is, and you know what?
Yeah, especially. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Scotty.
But what folks would assume with tournament angling, that there is a level of intimidation, and Alicia, I'm sure Alicia, it was tough maybe in the beginning for you to sort of get on that side where everybody sort of welcomed you and it was a warm fuzzy feeling. It's still competition nonetheless. I mean, you're gonna get all kinds of smack talk and this, that, and everything else. It's usually done in fun, but it can be intimidating to a new angler. But as I said, perseverance definitely shone through with Alicia, and she managed.
I could, like, when I fished, I could rattle anybody. We did a tournament once, Rocky and I put 4 rods. I brought 4 extra rods on the boat, and they were muskie rods, like heavy duty stuff. And I put Lindy muskie tandems on all of them, the big bucktail spinner baits you used to use for muskie fishing. I had 4 of them on the deck, and no guff. Bob and Wayne Izumi, well, we were like this when we fished in the tournaments. We were together all the time, the hotels and whatever. And they sort of idle by us, and Wayne's sitting on the seat at the front, tying up something, finishing the last minute. You had to change your lures that you tied on the night before because you thought it was, all that stuff. And all I see is he's got sunglasses on, and I see his head like this. And he's got the sunglasses. And the number of times that I did this to guys, and then Rocky and I came in with, like, I think it was like 26 pounds of largemouths that day, which is like a fantastic catch. And I put those back on the deck at the end of the day. We caught them all on craws and paddletail worms and jigs, but we put those out. A number of guys come by and they're like this. You're going by on the deck, they're looking. And we had another one. There was these 2 young lads that used to fish. They were just wild. We shared a hotel a couple of times with them, like we used to get in those strip motels. And they're a couple of young Italian kids, and they were fantastic kids. They were good kids, eh? They were out having fun. And they'd come up to these tournaments and they had a fun time. They'd always bring their girlfriends with them. They'd be drinking beers and, running around screaming till, 1 o'clock in the morning, where we ran around screaming till midnight because we were getting older and smarter. No, they're running around out there screaming. So these 2 young kids go out in the morning, and they've got about a 12-foot step ladder in the boat strapped down. And I looked at Rocky and I said, "What the hell are they doing with a ladder in the boat?" So we started thinking maybe they found a fish that was spawning still, because we were up in Georgian Bay and it was right at the beginning of the year. Because guys used to use ladders on bedding fish to look down at them to see them, from a distance. Okay. So they told us what it was after. They told us on Sunday night they had seen fish in a shallow bay on sand, and they got up on the ladder and they stayed like 100 yards away, and they could look and see them on the sand to know where they were before they got close to them. Which these kids are thinking, like, they went to the harbor. But I says to Rocky, I says to him, I tell you what, I said, I don't know how they're going to do today, but I said, if they come in here with 20 pounds, every guy here tomorrow is going to have a ladder in the boat, and he's not going to know why. They're just going to have it. So we bumped into them the first day. They're coming out from the way in. We're going in. And I look at him, because he had told us that they had some giant fish, like huge fish, And I said to him, I said, "How did you guys do today?" He said, "Well, we only got 17 pounds. I said, "Well, what's wrong with 17 pounds?" And he said, "Well, we only caught 3.
Wow.
They were all pretty close to say that. They had like 1780. They were all like, I think they had one that was over 6, and the other 2 were like 590, something like that, But they only caught 3. So these kids actually had a chance to load up like over 30 pounds, because it used to be for 6 fish back then. And they told us, we just can't catch them. We just can't get them to bite. And Rocky looks at him and says to him, Well, show us where they are. We'll go catch them for you. You know? And the second day, the poor kids came in. I think they had 1 2-pounder or something. But yeah, no, there's just funny little things that when we get together, we still talk. Somebody will mention the ladder. You know, it just comes up amongst the old guys. Now, I had a real compliment up there the other day. There was a guy up there talking to me before the weigh-in, and he said, actually, the compliment came last night after I was home in bed on Facebook, and he mentioned on one of the sites how different the guys from the olden days. He used the word olden. How different the guys from the olden days of tournaments were compared to the guys today. I thought that was really, really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, something that also is very interesting, and I imagine your hands are pretty sore. This fluff, it's gaining traction. I don't know how much you got, man. You meant, holy smokes!
When I was coming home, I had a guy. He's a guy that does some pouring and stuff for me. And there's another box with just probably a couple of thousand of the heads in it, you know. I got guys that have texted me since I sat down here. I'm looking at my phone. And, can I get some? Because they're all down here at the Thousand Islands Open. I've had a couple of American guys inquire to me because they can realistically now they can cross the river. They can't fish over here in the tournament, but they can cross the border. So one guy asked me, he says, "Hey, I looked at your address, Big Jim, and I see you live right above that town." And he says to me on the phone, he says to me, "What is it, Ganacue?" I said, "Oh, Gananoque." He said, "Yeah, that's it." he said, like if I was to need some, he says, "Could I meet you somewhere on the shore, a marina or a dock or something?" And I said, "Yeah, I could meet you at the mouth of the Gananoque River on the town dock." And he's going to talk to me tomorrow because apparently he has some on the way. Someone has them bringing them. They haven't got there yet. But this is the MLF Big Five guys. So this is the big boys.
This is the big spender, and I could see why you're feverishly trying to get it getting all that stuff tied because the boys are coming to spend some money.
I took kind of an easy day today, Tam. I woke up. I actually slept in this morning. I forced myself to sleep in. That was a big weekend for me, being out like that for 3 nights in hotel rooms, and I went up and visited my grandkids, and they're just up above there on Sunday morning. They're up by Stonecliff, just above Ralston there, below Mattawa. I went up there and visited the grandkids, and 20 minutes of that, and I was ready to break the Valium dispenser glass on the wall for emergencies. They were just running amok. They were wild.
Well, they come by it naturally. I have to ask you a question. Jeanette is asking, does the fluff work for walleye?
Yeah, fluff works for walleye. There's no doubt about it. It's the technique is not so that they use it with is not like I have guys that I tie 1/4 ounce jigs for with marabou on them because a marabou jig was a very common thing. I think they used to call it a doll fly, but it was weighted, the original thing when.
Yeah, yes. I remember.
You remember that? It was just a 1/4 ounce or a 3/8 ounce jig head with a whole bunch of marabou on the back. But see, the whole thing with the fluff is how small the jig heads are.
So to answer your question, Sean, just before Jim shows us, when it comes to
jig heads are so small.
Yeah.
You can see how teeny they are. That's a 3/32, and I've squished the barbs down to hold the plastic because it makes the marabou tie easier around the. Well, I'm giving out trade secrets now. It makes it easier to wrap them around it. But you can see how small they are. Like they're literally, and that's a big hook. That's a big hook. A lot of guys just won't use the small hooks. For some reason, they think the Johnson brothers don't know what they're talking about. Well, you watch it on how many times did you see Chris Johnson or Corey cradling a 5-pound smallmouth with that little black jig in the mouth? And it's the way that they do them. Like the word jig shouldn't even be used. That's why they call it fluff, because all they do is they cast them out and they wind them back. They turn the handle of the reel so slow that if there was a message on it, you could read it.
Wow.
And that's what they do. And that's why they have to be so light. That's why you need the specialized tackle and the rods and everything else to chuck them. It's you have to cast them so hard. And like they say, a lot of the guys are down to use a 5-pound braid now with an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader.
Wow. That is light. Yep. Holy smokes.
But with the proper rod, it all it all works out. The rod's like a steelhead rod.
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
there's
true.
all kinds of flex in it. So they just, they let the fish tire them out. And it's surprising when when you have a proper hook in these things. Most of the time we tie them with a Gamakatsu 604, which is a hook. A lot of guys who make jigs refer to it as a steelhead jig. And I mean, let's face it, if you're fishing for steelhead, you're fishing for big, mean, nasty fish. They make a smallmouth look like a joke.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to how hard that they can pull, and you see guys catching them on, size 12 and 14 little hooks with one egg. I'm sure anybody that's steelheads here knows what I'm saying. It's you certainly don't need a big hook to catch a big fish. You need a strong hook, is what you need.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Sean's got a question here, and I know it varies tournament to tournament, but what happens in a weigh-in style tournament when a fish is dead? What are the penalties, Jim?
Oh, it varies. Some are 4 ounces, some are 8. Some it's a straight pound. It depends on the organization. Because tournaments have been won and lost over that, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of tournaments have been lost over the years with that. And it's I never had it happen to me. I was fortunate. But
really? Never?
In a tournament? Oh, you mean a dead fish?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've had dead fish, but I
okay.
never had it affect the outcome that I wouldn't have won. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I did win a tournament in Quebec because a guy brought four fish and the penalty was a pound. He would have won by a pound.
Ooh. Wow.
And he got penalized for 4 pounds. And, it was really funny because I talked to him after and I congratulated him. I told him, well, I said, you caught the fish. You really won, but there's rules. And, and he was cool with it. He realized that he didn't take care of his fish. And that, that was a long time ago. Live wells weren't as good. Half the time they didn't work. Guys, that's why they check your live well and your kill switch when you go out. Those are the two that you have to have, right?
Amen. Yeah, a lot of people think that they're checking to make sure there's no fish in them. That is also why they check them, but it's also to make sure that it's working. That's incredible. Well, listen, it's 8:00. I know you have to get somewhere soon.
It's all good.
I will let you go. Love spending the entire hour with you. As we mentioned, Lawrence and Jay are not with us tonight. They're both enjoying well-deserved family vacations, and we wish them well. They'll be back here soon enough. And I know Lawrence has probably been diving into books and all kinds of stuff, reading up on everything that's going on in our fishing industry. So I look forward to what he's going to bring to us. But Jim, as always, my friend,
overloading.
Yeah, exactly. Can't thank you enough for all you do, buddy. And as I said, I thought it was so cool. You called me to pay tribute to Alicia, and
it's just really cool. She was the only lady.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and of course, I had somebody poke me. I made a comment somewhere about it was really cool. She was the only lady, and somebody said, "Well, why did you have to say the only one?"
Well,
and I'm not going to say who it was. If I did, everybody would know. And I said to her, well, because she was, and I sent back to her a message in capital letters that said the only one. And that's why I was proud. I think there was only 2 or 3 women fishing. So out of 160 people, she makes the cut. Cool.
Good for you, Alicia. Awesome.
Don't try to take away from it. And that's because she's a serious angler.
Yeah.
Is she going to win the Bassmaster Classic? No, she's not going to win the Bassmaster Classic. That's not, But is she having a good time, and is she getting to go and compete and stuff? Yeah, it's what it is, and that's the whole deal with that grassroots movement of BSS and the OBN and everything. It's just to have people involved in it, teach them a bit about conservation, and everybody learns. I'm sure Alicia learned. I think you said she learned a lot about fishing. Yeah, she fished with a really good angler, and that's what these clubs do. They put people together that normally wouldn't fish together. And they have a great time.
It's awesome.
They have a really good time. Yep.
Right on. Well, I'm looking forward to our time together, buddy. It's long overdue. I know it's coming. Hopefully you'll make it out this way, or perhaps I'll get out that way. Either way, now that COVID is relinquishing its grip on our province and our country, we're going to get back to doing what we do.
I'm proud of everybody that's, I know there's a lot of naysayers out there, but I'm proud of the people that have worked at it. Because if you look at our figures around the world right now, there's a lot of places that are doing a lot worse, and it's
Amen.
We're on top of it. We're doing a good job.
Right on, brother. Safe travels.
Yep.
All the best to you. You take care.
Hey, buddy. Everybody be safe out there.
Amen. A legend, I tell you, a great mentor, someone that is very outspoken when it comes to female angling and doing things right, making sure that we are all sound, ethical anglers, the conservation side, making sure that we are looking after our fish, holding our fish correctly, and releasing them in hopes that they will live long into the time that they're around to do all the reproduction and replenishing and maintaining of our fisheries. That guy right there has taught me a lot and does so each and every Monday. So we are very privileged. I am just waiting for Mike to join us because we do have a pretty cool announcement when it comes to the CFN FishOFF. So I am going to play a video or two from our sponsors, and sit tight, folks. We'll be right back with Mike.
C4 Lures, the only moldable, shapeable hard plastic lure on the market today. Just heat it up in hot water and shape the lure to any fish catching action you need. You can speed up or slow down the roll of the lure depending on the current speed or the tide. C4 Lures are available now for all salmon and trout species. Ask for C4 Lures at your local tackle retailer. For more information, visit c4lures.com. C4 Lures, it's like fishing with dynamite.
When it comes to Canadian food, we've got your back with flavors like lemon pepper, beer batter, campfire barbecue, lemon pepper dill, garlic butter and chives, and crispy Cajun. We've got a mix for every meal. Whether you're serving East Coast shrimp, West Coast salmon, succulent walleye, chicken wings, or veggies, we've got you covered. Coat your food in outdoor flavors. Available online or at these fine retailers.
Honoring past achievements as we step into the future. Elevate, innovate, reimagine. Make the best better. That's what we do. Radically redefined, the NRX Plus is the culmination of our obsessive drive to forge the most advanced fishing tools on the planet.
Mike Consul in the house.
Hello, hello. I want a G Loomis. That's all I could say.
Yeah, you know, I'll take a symmetry combo myself. And talking to Bob, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Mike, you heard it here first. Those new Noski reels that they came out with. I know two guys that might have one very soon. I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. It was actually hilarious. When Bob called me, he said, Scotty, I got good news and bad news. I said, what's the bad news, Bob? He said, we're getting rid of the Noski. I said, what? Why would you do that, man?
What's your favorite?
That's my go-to reel. What? No, don't. I don't even want to hear the good news. Forget it. He says the good news is we've relaunching, put a lot more technology into it, and it's better than ever. I said, okay, well, we'll see. But apparently it is. And, I'm looking.
Maybe we could test it out.
Absolutely, getting a hold of it. But our symmetry combos are making their way out to some of our winners. I saw Alexei post a provincial winner pack, so it's nice to see those prize packs are getting to where they're supposed to be getting. That's awesome. But behind the scenes, and we don't get to see it, Mike, because of course we're privileged to see some of the stuff that's going on with our current TV, basically the group that is going to be bringing the CFN FishOFF to TV, and our three teams: Team Power Pro, Team G Loomis, and of course Team Jackal. That Bob was very, very pleased to hear that we did and went forward on it, made our own executive decision even before we heard from him, but thinks it's awesome. But you're telling me how close it is. I don't have the privilege of seeing the scoreboard. I just get to see the submissions, and it seems close to me, but you're going to allude to how close it actually is.
Oh, man. And I'm just going to pop it up. so I could see it right here, but I can't show anyone. But we have, the Landry, Team Landry, Team Littlejohn, and Team Beeler, otherwise known as Team G Loomis, Jackal, and Power Pro. And it is close. In season 1, Red and I won with 22 species, and we caught 22 species in 6 weeks. And we just edged out the Beelers, and Red didn't catch any fish for 6 weeks, but on the last day, he caught the winning fish. And that was 22 species. I'm looking at the top team right now, and they have 17 species, and they've only fished Saturday and Sunday. So in 2 days, they already caught 17 species. The team, yeah. That's me and Red did that in 6 weeks. I think the Beelers caught 18 species in 6 weeks. So they've already, they're one species away from matching what the Beelers caught in 6 weeks. Speaking about the Beelers, they're captaining a team right now, and they're all super close. We got 17 species, 15 species, and 14 species. I can't tell you who's in first. I can't tell you who's in second or third, but all I can tell you is it's really close.
Wow.
And it's only 2 days so far.
Well, as I said, it's always fun. I love doing the taglines and the phrase that pays and all that stuff, and using Walter as the prop. I always get a kick out of it. I know our participants do. They hated the first code because it was too hard. The second code was much easier, so they appreciated that. But I don't know if we're going to make it that easy going forward. But needless to say, as exciting as it is currently right now, and it's telling like a Hollywood movie, we are going to add, you and I, something that we talked about when we first, I think it was right after the picks were chosen. We had mentioned that we might do something that will throw a wrench into things, but will be exciting for all of the participants, including those who were picked as alternates.
Yeah, so we have a decision to make, and we wanted feedback from the community. Basically, Scotty says it all the time. The beauty about the show is we're able to make you the star of the show. And that's what I love about this season's format is we had captains pick a family member and then pick someone outside the province and then pick another person outside the province. So each team is made up of 4 people across 3 different provinces, and they all came from the top 25 of the last spring fish-off. Now, we didn't know for sure if their first and second round draft picks were in, so we had 2 alternate picks. And here's an idea that we have for our community, and you can let us know. We're thinking just so we could expand the number of stars on the TV show at the same time as highlighting different provinces. What if those alternate picks in some way, shape, or form, and there's different ways, but what if those alternate picks were also able to be on the show to expand the team? What do you think, Scotty?
I as I said, I had brought it up to you right after the draft, and I thought, what would be really cool is if we could somehow implement them as a species-specific weekend. For instance, like this weekend coming up, would the captains be able to choose which alternate which alternate we need this species of fish? Can you go out Saturday and Sunday and target a 4-point fish for us that we may not have a chance to get where we are, but we know they're in your backyard? So we are thinking, Mike and I have thought about it, and we're reaching out to you guys. I think it would be really cool if we could access, or at least the captains could access those alternates to target a specific species of fish that would give them some much needed 4 points and make this race even closer than it already is.
And then the other side to it is come next spring, the drag pullers have won the right and the privilege to be featured on the next season. So not this season, but the season after that. So they'll be competing on the TV show. But who are they going to face? And so having these alternates come in is kind of like another casting call in, hey, you did really well. for your small little segment of one species, how would you like to be on this next season in 2022? So there's a couple irons in the fire and light bulbs in our head, but I think that'd be cool because that would allow like Craig Ainsworth from BC to be on the show to catch a species, Sarah Jinkerson from Ontario to also be on the show. They wouldn't be on the whole 13 episodes, but you know, they're getting their feet wet, and maybe that's the trigger that we say, hey, Sarah, holy smokes, you're only in one episode, but can you be in the next season? Because that one episode was amazing.
Yep, absolutely. No, and the thing is, I mean, we certainly see different levels of of effort, and it's not to say one, you know, worked harder and we want to, you know, pump their tires. It's not that at all. In fact, if anything, we just want to reward some extraordinary sacrifices and efforts that were put forth this season and every season for that matter, but especially this format. It warrants it, it invites it, it encourages it, and as I said, as soon as we were done the picks, I remember, you know, leaning over to Mike. I think we got to find a way to get these alternates in. I think that would be really cool. So we are working on that, but we also want to hear your input. But the idea right now, as it is tabled, is our captains will be able to pick their alternate to target a specific species of fish for that weekend in hopes that they'll get a 4-point fish that they won't have access to with their current team and their current location.
Let me explain to you the weekend idea. So the TV tournament, rather than being a 4-week tournament or a 6-week tournament, it's only 16 days. So the day 1 was Saturday, day 2 is yesterday, and then this whole week is another 5 days, and then they have their second weekend, and then they have their second week, Monday to Friday, and then they have their third and final weekend. So all in all is 16 days. So weekend number 2 is coming. So would it be cool if from my pool of alternates, I pick one of them and they target a species that I can't get, that my other team members can't get for weekend 2. And then come weekend 3, the last 2 days of the tournament, I'll pick my second alternate who hasn't been part of the show yet. And maybe they can catch me, kind of like Red Andal, that winning fish on the last day that my team hasn't got yet. So if you have any ideas on how we can include our alternates, because if we're making you the star of the show, let's get more people involved. And that's what the CFN football was all about.
So it just says Facebook user. I'm not sure who it was, but this is a great idea. It would be super cool for the very last weekend of the competition to allow the 2 alternates for each captain as a very last push. So implementing them in the last weekend. I like that idea. I do like that idea.
That's a great idea as well.
An episode dedicated to the fish off with anglers who didn't make the TV one would be great to give other anglers a glimpse of themselves on TV one episode with the multiple anglers submitting a catch. Christina, we do that. I know Mike and his editing team put that together. And even though you perhaps may not have made the championship round and what goes to TV, as you will see in previous fish offs and again in this one, we will be implementing catches that were caught in our qualifying round and some of the anglers that caught them. So we'll do our best to do that. And as I said, we want everybody to be a star, but absolutely it's a great idea, and keep them coming. We're all about that. So keep that in mind. Our alternates, get ready. Your casting call.
we got to talk it over with the judges. They have no idea we're having this conversation right now. Our judges and our captains. But if they're, I don't know, I got to scroll up. If they're watching alternates and captains, we might throw you that curveball and make it happen. Just to that other comment that you have, Scotty. Scotty has his voiceover on the show, and he says, before we get back to the CFN Fish Off action, here's some catches from our last online tournament. And then we, those videos that you submitted on Facebook, we take some of the best ones and we show them on TV. So like we said, everyone is the star of the show.
1 hour episodes. Absolutely. Christina, if we had the ability to do that with the network, and the network, I'll tell you, they're really liking this concept. The CFN Fish Off, they have said to us point blank that a lot of subscriptions, or at least the increase to subscriptions, they can't really justify it with any of the other shows because they're similar shows. This one being CFN FishOFF being a new one. There are newer shows that get added here and there, but since the CFN FishOFF has been implemented, their subscription base has gone up. So they don't have any explanation of it. So they point to the CFN FishOFF. So kudos to all of you for doing that and allowing us to share in that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a strong Canadian community. So thank you for your support. If you haven't seen it yet, it's currently on WFN right now. So if you have access to WFN, you could watch season 2 of the CFN FishOFF, which is still airing. It's the the second airing on WFN. It's a rerun. So go check that out. But yeah, amazing team so far. There's fish I've never even heard of. Let me go on the chart here, Scotty.
Well, the sculpins, like what Douglas is targeting, we don't have the luxury of that.
I know there's some major fish, and we have Brad and oh man, my mind is in Troy, Brad and Troy, and they are in BC on kayaks.
Are those the captains right now calling you, going, "What are you doing?"
But they're on kayaks and they're catching fish that I've never even seen before. Ken called me today because we didn't know what fish it was. So we asked Ken, "Hey Ken, what kind of rockfish was that?" And he goes, "Mike, I've never caught that fish before." So I got off the phone with him a couple hours ago for him to ID it. And it's a fish that he hasn't even caught, and he's approaching 1,000 species. So
we stumped Ken.
Yeah, he knew what fish it was because it's one of the ones on his list that he's never caught before. So he was pretty impressed that one of the BC guys caught it.
Wow. Christina, yes, once we are entitled to do so, we upload it to YouTube. Unfortunately, there is a grace period where we're not because the network still owns the rights to it. But once it airs, I believe right to the last episode, it's then ours. So we will be uploading it to YouTube. Absolutely.
What we want to do is actually have a kind of like what we did for our YouTube series. We want to have some sort of premiere where we, once COVID's gone and hopefully the dates line up. But if we could have a whole bunch of CFNers meet and have our premiere online plus in person, Scotty, that'd be amazing.
I have just the place. So it is in the works. And what I'd like to do also is put all of our CFN supporters in that same building so that they can sell a bit of their swags, sell a bit of their tackle, and do the airing all at once. I think that would be awesome. So
oh man, I see it already. Vendor tables and then a huge screen, some food.
Yeah. It's in the works. It's in the works. We have the place. It can be done. Trust me, Mike. It's in the works.
Love it. So tomorrow we got Tourney Tuesday and the tournament's over, but we do have a draw to give away because one of our pre-tournament draws was not claimed. It wasn't claimed, but they had to enter a fish in order to qualify to receive that pre-tournament draw, but they didn't, which means we're redrawing again. So join us tomorrow. We have some prizes to give away, and then we have a sponsor that's also going to join us to show you some of the stuff that he has been donating to the prize packs, and then explain how you can get a hold of some of this awesome stuff as well.
Yeah, Gary Yabchuk will be joining us from Skunk Fishing. He's going to give us an update. I think it's an incredible initiative that he is involved in, helping stock some of the lakes in his area. The money that he raises towards skunk fishing is going towards the cost of that. We have allotted a certain amount of money from the sales of those Signature Series hoodies. So keep that in mind. We don't make much money on those. We try to keep the cost down for you CFNers. So we make all of $1 on those hoodies, and that dollar is being donated to skunk fishing and the efforts of Jerry. So he's going to give us an update tomorrow. So stay tuned to that. Any last things, Mike, that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I had a family party over the weekend. It was my sister's birthday, and my brother-in-law, he's vegan. I don't know if you know where this is going. He asked me what the difference is between hooking a dog in the lip and suffocating it versus hooking a fish in the lip and catching and releasing it. So for those,
how did you handle that?
well, that's what I want to ask the people who are watching right now. When, I don't know how you labeled it, but what is your response to people who say fish feel pain, or it's cruel to catch fish, or could be hunting as well, but let's stick to fishing. What is your response to that? I told them that I've seen studies that saying that you can't compare the anatomy of a fish with an anatomy of a mammal. So yes, there is a stimulus and response, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's pain in between. I know if I hook my lip, that's the stimulus. The response is, I'd swear, and there's pain. But the anatomy of a fish, and we can, this is something we should ask Jason, is based upon the study I've seen, is there is no pain there. There is definitely an instinct to flee, and that's why fish jump and pull your drag, but there might not be pain there. And the evidence I showed them is two things. One, I've lost a lure on a pike, cast it in the same section, caught that pike, and took the lure out. So if there was pain there, I don't think he would go after my second lure, because the reason why pain exists is so that we avoid it. But the fact that the pike didn't avoid the second offering while he still had a hook in his mouth, there might not be pain there. And then the second example I gave is, one of the reasons why fish have dorsal fins is when they get eaten by another fish, they could put that dorsal fin out and hopefully trigger the fish to open its mouth. So fish naturally eat things that we think cause pain in them, but I don't think that there's actual pain, because they eat all kinds of things like fish and like spiky dorsal fins. So that was kind of the debate we're having, whether fish feel pain when we catch them.
I would hazard a guess that they do. I think it would be obtuse of us to suggest that they don't. How bad that pain is, hard to say. Mike or Jim just talked about what a fish goes through in a tournament, bounce around in a live well. It's like a football player and playing 4 quarters. So there is some stress that's put on fish. I don't think that any of us would suggest that it doesn't. But how we deal with those questions and then the people that ask them, I think is what makes us unique. It makes CFNers different. One of which, you don't engage them. Like someone who is that set in their ways, don't even bother getting in a conversation with them. It's pointless. It's best to say nothing than to say something and get yourself chewed out by someone that just doesn't really care to hear what you have to say. So my first advice, number one advice, don't engage them. Just leave them alone. You know what? If they want to think that way, that's their entitlement. They have the right, but it's not something that I want to discuss. So I shut down those conversations. Right
it was a good conversation. It wasn't an emotional conversation. At the end of the day, I told them, my need to go fishing is probably much greater than my concern for the fish. And if my concern for animals was as big as yours, I'd probably also be vegetarian or vegan, but it's not. And that's why I eat burgers and steaks. So we agreed that we have different life philosophies. It was a good conversation.
Well, Tony, you're probably onto something. Mike probably just got him drunk, and that's quite probably true. It was a birthday party, so that could have happened. Not sure, but could have happened. But yeah, as I said, it's not what we push here at CFN. If it's an agenda that somebody wants to focus in on and spend a lot of time on and try and convince others to believe that's great. Call yourself another network. CFN's here about ethical fishing, promoting Canadian angling, as well as Canadian anglers and all those wicked Canadian tackle companies and producers that we have that help support our community. You want to jump on board with that? the door is open. If you want to, raise hell and talk about how fish feel pain and how we shouldn't be doing this, we're playing with our food. I get all that. I appreciate that, but there's other sites for that, and that's not this one.
I noticed Sarah Jinkerson is watching. Hey, Sarah, are you ready to be on TV next weekend?
She is, and she is definitely ready. Yes, we have to mention it to the captains first, Sarah. So we got to let it down gently on them, because I'm sure they're gonna flip. Bill is feverishly trying. Like, these captains, these anglers are working so friggin' hard, man. That's all I can say. The effort that's going into what's happening right now, it's incredible. And of course, Mike and I are the only ones, and the judges have the privilege of seeing it. But to say, I'm smiling because I see the effort that's going in from all these participants. It is friggin' awesome, man.
Two things. One, thank you to our judges. We got 3 new judges because we're giving our spring judges a break, because they definitely need it after over 1,000 entries in the spring. So Kevin Fox, Kevin Fernandez, and Kevin Lowen, the 3 Ks. So thank you to the 3 Kevins for judging the TV tournament. And speaking about our anglers and how much they're putting into it, I was looking. We have a group chat with everyone in it, and Jesse, who came in second, fishing with Ginger. It was like 12 o'clock on Saturday, and he posted a whole bunch of fish. Less than 10 species, or in and around like 10 species. And I'm like, the FishOFF has only been on for 12 hours. How did you catch 10 species? Have you even slept?
And in the pouring rain, Mike.
Yeah.
In the pouring rain in a kayak out in big water.
Have you even slept? Yeah. And he's like, not yet. I'm going to go to sleep after this next fish. So pretty crazy. And I don't think anyone is – I don't know if anyone on TV is online watching now, and it's because either they're fishing or they're sleeping. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. They went hard this past weekend. I tell you, they need some Z's. Well, Mike, we will see each other again tomorrow, Tourney Tuesdays. We're going to be giving some prizes away. We're going to be talking to our good buddy Jerry Amchuk from Skunk Fishing and a bunch of other things. Hopefully our judges have been told about what's going on, and it's broken to them gently. But yeah, we are going to be throwing a bit of a mix, and we appreciate all of the feedback that we received from you guys tonight. We will take it into consideration, and then hopefully we'll be unveiling it tomorrow.
Yeah, we will see. I'm going to hop on the group chat and pitch the idea to our captains and to our teams. But thanks everyone for watching. I hear Mitch is there. Yeah. Mitch is spying right now.
He's spying. He is. Absolutely.
Mitch went hardcore too. Holy crow. Man, Mitch didn't even have time to post his fish. He was just in the group chat. He's like, bang, 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 all these species. And so, wow.
Well, I thought, and Deborah did a great job too, because she had no Wi-Fi where she was. So she, every once in a while, she'd come back, climb a huge mountain, post her fish, and then go back down. Like, as I said, the effort that's going on is phenomenal. I'm tickled pink to see the work that's going into it.
So we'll see. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. And it's all for charity. So thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, you take care. Have a great night, bud. We'll see you again tomorrow, 7 o'clock, right here. Same channel, same time, the whole ball of wax.
Join us, 7 o'clock. Got some prizes to give away.
Yeah, baby. Right on. Take care, dude.
Bye.
All right. So just a couple things. We have Tourney Tuesday, as Mike and I just mentioned. We have our meet and greet happening this Friday. As it is right now, all of the seats are booked based on the messenger. So I was going to announce that there were 2 spaces available. I do believe they have been taken up from what I see on Messenger. So I'm not gonna mention any more of that. But really looking forward to spending some time with our incredible captains. Michelle's put a lot of work into it. I know she's a little bit excited, just a tad bit excited. But Michelle's been working very, very hard. Lord of the Fins is going to be with Matt Boatmeister, Michelle and Adam, Fishing Fanatic Charters, as well as a plethora of other stuff. And we feed you, so keep that in mind. We've started the group chat for everybody who's coming. looking forward to seeing everybody. Hopefully we get a protocol nailed down as well as a time, but that's all to come based on weather, wind, and where the fish are. So keep that in mind. Also, our photo contest for July. Yeah, drop the ball. This one right here. Drop the ball. We will be posting that momentarily. I think we'll run it for a week. We'll make sure that we get all of your entries, but we are looking for a July winner so that we can post right where Kevin is right now on our profile pic. We'll be changing that with the July winner and then running our August photo contests. So we want to see all your CFNers because it will be going into a calendar in which we will be putting together and hopefully selling to our community. Also, bunch of other things. I can't think of what it is that I had to announce. That's probably it that I can think of. If there's anything I'm missing or anybody has something, no. I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. Obviously, CFN retreat. We will be opening it up. I can announce this. There are 4 spots available for the CFN retreat. So if you are looking, I know I gave till Sunday for folks in cabin 7 and in cabin 1 to find their own. I haven't got, obviously Mark and Eric are very busy with the FishOFF. Never got an answer. So we will be opening up. 4 spots are going to be available for the CFN retreat. So stay tuned to that. And I think that's pretty much it. For all of you who joined at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end and stayed here right till the end, can't thank you guys enough. Really appreciate your time and your efforts. And I'll tell you, you make us all CFN proud and proud to be CFNers. You guys take care. Have yourselves a great week. We'll see you tomorrow. All the best. Peace.